Okay, so now we got that. Now let's talk about this other thing, because we also got to talk about PDB. I'm not going to say his last name because I'll say it wrong.
Johnny, do we have the clip available of Pete talking about the black endorsements?
Yeah, you want to do your question first, and then it kind of rolls into that?
Yeah. So we interviewed a couple candidates, one of them being Pete Buttigieg, and I asked him a question on his wealthy donors.
That was a press conference.
At the press conference, exactly.
Spin room.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened is he had just gotten back from a fundraiser in Palm Springs. And so I said, hey, you just got back from a fundraiser in Palm Springs. What about your donors? Blah, blah, blah. And then somebody else also asked him about the 400 black South Carolina endorsements that he lied about. And, well, they didn't ask him about him lying about it, but he continued to lie about it. So let's just play the first one, and then we'll lead into the second.
On the other hand, the other side of the coin is the other side of the Democratic Party is running largely on a progressive platform. You just got back from a fundraiser in Palm Springs. Why should the American people continue to vote for somebody who caters to big donors and big money?
Well, there are a lot of progressives in Palm Springs and every part of California that I have been to. And there are also a lot of moderates and even some people leaving the Republican Party who are embracing our vision for progressive change that's delivered in a way that can unify the American people. We have over 600,000 individual contributors in this campaign. I don't take corporate PAC money, but those 600,000 plus individuals are all part of this movement in order to deliver a better future for this country. And I'm proud to have that kind of support.
Black leaders from South Carolina distanced themselves from your Douglas plan and said that it was very vague when you asked them to endorse it. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, so I understand some of the frustrations about how the rollout went. I will say that we believe that the plan is the right plan going forward, and we'll continue to engage leaders, especially black leaders in South Carolina, who we've been in dialogue with throughout, in order to make sure that we've answered all the questions that we can about the vision going forward and done the right kind of engagement.
You're surging in Iowa, but are we all...
Okay. Are we ready? Okay. Okay, so he didn't answer the question. In fact, he went on and double whammied it and said, well, in these fundraisers, there's moderates and Republicans and all these kinds of people. And, you know, we are trying to build a progressive coalition, and I don't take corporate PAC money. Bullshit. Like he goes to Wall Street donors. He's backed by CIA. I mean, this guy was lying through his teeth, and he was pretending that he's a progressive, and he had the audacity to tell everybody in that press room that he is a progressive, and that he is, you know, and he framed it with platitudes like, we're just trying to move our country forward. We're just trying to have these progressive values. And he didn't answer why people should trust a guy that's courting billionaires and wealthy elite donors. Okay. Like, how do you go from that? And then on to the second thing. The Intercept did a wonderful article exposing, this is by Ryan Graham, exposing how Pete Buttigieg lied about these 400 endorsements from the African Americans in South Carolina. And they all straight up went up and spoke about how they had not endorsed him. And this was via his the Douglas Plan for Black America. And even one of them was like, oh, I actually support Bernie Sanders. I have no intention of supporting Pete Buttigieg. So when he gave that answer, it was like he didn't even answer, like he didn't even really answer anything. He was just like, yeah, we're going to reach out to these people, these black caucus members and these black people in our area, and we're going to continue talking with them. But he couldn't specify anything because he's full of it. He's lying.
Yeah. Well, let me ask the audience a question, because I'm looking at all these things. I'm reading all these things. And going, who is more of a threat to the progressive movement? Elizabeth Warren or PDB? Pete Buttigieg. Did I say it right? No, I didn't. I don't think I said it right. Who's more of a threat to you guys out there, ladies and gentlemen? Mayor Pete or Elizabeth Warren? You tell us which one right now, because let me tell you something. What do you think? Well, after I might have said Elizabeth Warren because I think she was more disguised, but once again, I think that Pete Buttigieg is. I mean, guys, wait until you see him, the question I asked him to and the answer I got. You talk about platitude salad. And I said it, you're one of only 2 veterans running for president here. What are you going to do day one when it comes to foreign policy? And I got the typical Pete Buttigieg answer. Do you want to show it, or you got it ready?
Give me well, before you do that, I just want to say I still think Elizabeth Warren's the biggest threat because she is hidden, because she is more believable as a progressive than Pete Buttigieg, because she has still higher numbers, because she is the consolation prize to not getting a Bernie Sanders. However, I think Pete Buttigieg is more of a bad faith actor. I think he's absolutely not a good person.
Yeah.
He seems really like sociopathic-y, fake. I don't know. Like he just had this whole this energy that I really, really didn't like. I feel like Elizabeth Warren is kind of like can't decide if she's going to be progressive or a centrist, and I feel like Pete Buttigieg is a centrist, and he's campaigning. He's actually a Republican. I feel, and he's campaigning as a progressive, and he has been putting all his money on Iowa, and he's been able to garner some support there because he's coming off as, I can reach across the aisle and I can be this moderate. But really his foreign policy, his pro-Israel, anti-Palestinian qualities, his anti-whistleblower stances on saying that we need to look at what the legislation does and what these agencies do rather than what a whistleblower can do, that is very dangerous. And the fact that he's backed by people like Mark Zuckerberg, hey Mark, and the CIA, to me is
he's got more millionaire donations of funders than anybody out there.
But I don't take corporate PAC money.
Please, he's got more than anybody. They're
fucking lying.
They're going to him in droves. A lot of people think, and that's the thing I can't figure out. Is he the distraction to get Warren through, or is Warren the distraction to get him through?
I think it's them.
I mean, it's those two are just like, you can see Alphabet.
Yeah.
Now, anybody's taking money from Alphabet. Alphabet is the parent company that owns Google. You're talking CIA to the max over there. And look at everything else there. Walt Disney, Microsoft. Look at these Kaiser Permanente, Wells Fargo.
And
this guy is deep state as can be, man. Facebook, Blackstone Group, University of Notre Dame, U.S. Department of State, all over the place. But let's take a look, fam, because you know what? Once again, we heard a different candidate answer this same question and get specific answers on this particular question. So I figured I'd give it to Mayor Pete and ask him the same one.
That every day, and I welcome the opportunity to do that work.
Mayor Buttigieg, you are one of 2 veterans in the race. What would you do day one, foreign policy-wise, if you were elected president?
Well, the first job of the next president is going to be to restore the credibility of the United States. When we have a president who turns his back on our allies, when you have a president who short-circuits our own military justice system, to block justice for war crimes and accusations of war crimes, that undermines the very foundation of U.S. credibility and honor around the world. So in addition to the specific foreign policy steps we need to take in order to join with allies on counterterrorism efforts and ensure that we have the right kind of trade for the future that's going to serve Americans well and pull together the country to confront climate change, there's a more basic and fundamental effort, and that is to send the message that America is a country that can be trusted. It will be my top priority in relating with our allies, and a message that will also go to our adversaries around the world.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
What was the answer, fam?
Yeah.
What was the freaking
restore the credibility?
That
was the answer.
We got to restore the credibility. Thank you, because I was freaking worried that our credibility running around the world was just so bad when Donald Trump got in there. Like, it was great before that. Like, we were this glistening, shining freaking beacon of justice and hope and democracy before freaking Donald Trump got there. No, Obama didn't do shit. And we asked the same question. Well, we didn't ask the same question, but we got an answer from another candidate by the name of Tulsi Gabbard. She goes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to address the most serious problem we have. We're going to denuclearize, and we're going to sit down with China and Russia, and we're going to work out our grievances to get rid of nuclear weapons. That's a specific answer.
Right.
What Buttigieg did was give you freaking platitude salad, like always. But guess what? We got you on record. You've been exposed, pal.
You've been exposed.
Amor says they are trying to make Pete look tall. Well, I mean.
Well, yeah. Pasta made a joke before.
That was our filmmaker, Michael Stratt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our filmmaker.
We tried to help him out a little bit,
He did. No, I mean, yeah, he was very polite, at least. And he also said we need to work with our allies, like specifically only our allies.
Who's our allies?
He should have said our adversaries. Yeah. Our allies are Saudi Arabia and Israel. Are you kidding me?
We got to work with them, fam.
Like
got-
how like should we? I mean, you should be calling for us to stop funding Israel, who are killing Palestinians. But instead, he took on the latest Gaza strikes. He took the side of Israel once again.
No, of course he
and,
did.
And did that. So it's pretty clear Pete Buttigieg did the worst, I think, out of all these candidates, and he's bad news, you guys. Like, he should not be believed. And the fact is, he comes off like a soft man, like, and he's just polite, and I think some people
was
buy
the beginning
that.
of that, Johnny. I think Johnny's trying to look up with when you ask somebody specifically, and I said the same thing to Castro, and he gave me the platitude friggin' salad about a different question. But here's Tulsi Gabbard. We didn't ask her the question. The reporter next to us was the one good question asked by the mainstream media that day, because they asked a bunch of BS questions. But look how she answers the question.
You would make in terms of maybe pulling out of a country, maybe making...
Well, the greatest national security and existential threat that we face in this country is the new Cold War and nuclear arms race that's ensuing, with increasing tensions between the United States and nuclear-armed countries like Russia and China. So one of the first things I'll do is call for a summit with these two countries to begin the work, the diplomatic work, to de-escalate these tensions, work out differences that we have, find areas of common interest so that we can make progress towards reducing the numbers of nuclear weapons in the world, putting an end to this nuclear arms race, and making it so that not the American people nor people of any other nation have to live in fear of nuclear war.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's a very specific, great answer on that issue. And the thing, they're both veterans, right? They're both veterans. Two very different ways of being a veteran. One is pro-war, pro-CIA. The other one is pro-peace talks, like, let's talk to our adversaries, not just our allies. Let's find common ground. That is how you do it. That is how you answer that question.
Yeah.
And
that
nice
wasn't
parallel.
that was Tulsi a couple days ago. She wasn't at the KDM. For somebody said I thought she wasn't at the KDM, because we did also ask Rusty Hicks on the process they use on choosing people to come to the California Democratic Convention. And from what we found out is that Tulsi wasn't in the first group of invites, and then once Biden, your boy, and Warren decided not to go, then they reached out to Tulsi. By then she said nope, and I'm glad she said nope to them. So.